Hi, I'm Anna Troglin, and today we're going to learn how to draw a sulfur-crested cockatoo using a black Conte crayon and newsprint. The first thing we're going to do is put in the basic shapes and outlines of the cockatoo, and we're not going to press very hard because we're not going to be erasing. So, looks like this head is very slightly towards the back, like this, very slightly. So let's get those shapes in. Notice that in drawing the bird, you see a lot of egg shapes. See the egg shapes that I'm drawing? The chest of the cockatoo is egg-shaped. The body is egg-shaped. The head is a sideways egg shape. The wings are also going to be egg-shaped. And there's the tail. It's not egg-shaped. Coming around here, we find the legs. Everybody's had a chicken drumstick before, so we know what shape the legs are going to be because we've eaten them before. And here's where the other leg is. All right, so now we've got our basic shapes in. We're going to go ahead and start filling in some detail. Now before we start, we're going to look over here at these marks here. These show the darkness and the lightness that you can get with a Conte crayon and all the different gradations in between. I suggest that you draw a box like this on your picture and fill in the black at one end, the white at the other, and then getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, or darker and darker and darker and darkest. Be aware what you can do with just a little hand pressure. So let's get started on this bird's head. So it's very small down here. The head is very small. And I'm going to go in and delineate it fairly dark because we want to make sure that we can see our real shapes here that we're going to be sculpting out of our sketch shapes. So here is the beak. We're not going to fill it in right now. We're just going to go with the outlines. Now here we go. We are going to do the feathers up here. This is called a crest. There we go. And this bird is a sulfur-crested cockatoo. It is a white bird with a yellow crest, which we won't see today because we're working in black and white today. And the edges of the feathers here are kind of rough. Put them in like that. And there we see the eye. Here's the bottom of this feather, which is going to come through like this. This feather here curves up like this, and the eye is going to go about here. And this is going to go up like this, around like that. And this is going to go like this around here. Let's get the back of the bird. Notice how much of the basic outlines are still standing here, even though I have not chosen to use some of them. We'll see how we deal with that in a minute. Again, don't worry about making a photographic representation. This is about having fun and taking creative license to do what you want to do. For instance, you might want to make your cockatoo have sunglasses on, or maybe you want your cockatoo to have a book. Now this foot is coming right out of the feathered chest. And here's his claw. I'm using a fairly heavy line here. That's because I'm sculpting the picture out of the page. It's exactly like sculpting out of stone or wood. I'm going to move that toe around a little bit. Again, I'm using artistic license. Here's his tail. It's a pretty simple tail. Okay, so we've got the general outlines right now. Let's go in and fill in some details. Let's go back up here. There's that sort of shaggy line that we use. Let's fill in that beak a little bit so it stands out as we're working, get an idea of how to match everything up. Because everything needs to be consistent. If you see your bird sitting this way, you can't draw the bird sitting looking at you because that's not the way that he appears in the picture. Sometimes when you're drawing, you'll see something and you'll say, well, that doesn't make sense. But it's really important at that time for you to go ahead and draw it the way you see it, because when you're done with it, if everything's matching and you've worked hard and been a good observer, you'll see that the thing that you thought didn't fit actually fits very nicely. That's that sulfur crest. Sulfur is a kind of yellow mineral. How does that look? I think it's coming along nicely. Let's get this one here, and it looks like I have done that with it, so that's what we'll do. We're going to use slightly lighter tone down here. We're feeling our way through this. We want it to be accurate. We want it to look good. Okay, now we're down here, and now we're down here, around here. Remember, if it doesn't make sense, it usually is going to make sense by the time you've got it done, so don't stress. putting in the feathers on the wings. So be very aware that the wings are going to be moving. They're moving parts. So don't draw them too rigidly. Remember that the bird will be able to spread out his wings and fly away if he feels like it. Maybe even while we're drawing him. Notice that this is far away from this, but in this picture, it's very close. We've already done this though. We've made our commitment to it, so we're going to stick with it. I'm going to make the area around the bottom of the leg very dark because it's in shadow. Go through here and add some feathers. Now we've got one foot that is dark. We're going to do the other foot dark too. See how I'm sculpting with this black Conte crayon? I'm sculpting right out of the page. I'm making it come forward so that it's three-dimensional. It has depth and value and tone. What is value? Value is whether something is dark or light. It's produced by light source and by natural patterns that you see. For instance, we know that this area around the leg is dark because of the light source and because of the body that's hanging over it. We're going to go a little lighter here because we can. Now we're very close in here with the feet, so let's see what we can do with them. And we're going to go through here like this, and up like this, and around, and let's make that claw nice and black. This bird needs to be able to hang in a tree if he wants, so he needs to have good, strong feet and claws. Put a little bit of bone in there to make it make sense. Drawing the joints in now. All right. Give them a little bit more of a claw. There we go. Let's pull this through like this. Okay. Now we're going to go to the back foot. Fill that in black, but outline it even blacker. So he can climb the tree. All right. Notice how with Conte crayons that you can correct as you go. You don't need to stop and erase. Now, this picture of a cockatoo definitely looks like a cockatoo. We know that that's what it is. A little bit extra here. And you notice that there are a lot of extra lines around the edge. This is what I call process. Your process is your ability to draw or to paint. And it shows when you don't erase. You can see that this was drawn by an actual human being and not by a machine, and that it's not a photograph. These lines show the way that your mind thinks as you take in the picture. That makes them very beautiful because they show that you're a thoughtful, considerate artist who's able to do all kinds of things without having to feel committed to a heavy black line that would ruin the picture. So, in doing a more involved picture, one where we would add color or maybe we would paint over this, then we would do something about removing those lines. For a simple sketch like this, they're very beautiful, and I advise you not to get rid of them. or feel bad about them. Touch up a little bit more. Notice that I'm adding according to what I think will look good in my picture rather than just copying the original picture. All right. This has been Drawing a Sulfur Crested Cockatoo with Black Conte Crayon by Anna Troglin.